This is the Nightwolf howling at you, and today we're going to take a look at the Cobra S.N.A.K.E battlesuit from G.I. Joe Classified. This thing is a beast. At least it feels like it's a beast. It's a pretty heavy box. So on the front of it, we just see, one right up front there with a couple of guys in the back. We even see a character come popping out of the compartment looking like it's one of the Cobra Valkyries. Based on what they told us in one of the, fan streams. The Cobra Valkyries are going to be the best figures to put in here, but some of the other standard figures will fit also. So that right there is already telling you this is kind of a bad design. No offense, but it should have been designed to fit for sure the mid figures easily. The way it sounded in the stream to me at any rate was that that's going to be a difficult thing to do. So on the side here we just see a close-up, more arty looking than the front of the box. More arty looking. On the side we get the standard BS that we always get with these things. And on the back we get kind of the product shots showing some of the things here. I'm guessing this is all the information we're going to get on how to put this thing together. But hey, at least they're giving us some information on how to put this together, because most of the time we don't get that much. He does come with a couple of different flame effects, which is kind of cool. Although, again, it feels like they're using them wrong. But let's go ahead and open this sucker up, shall we? Okay, I'm not going to lie. I was not expecting it to be in there sideways. This thing is big. Big, big. Alright, so we have the armor out. All these extra pieces, the big claw thing. God, this thing feels cheap. Hands. The hands do not open or close. This is sad. Why they didn't put some articulation into these hands, I don't understand. Well, I know why they didn't, because they're cheap as f***, but, articulated hands would have been nice. And then we got these little thingies here. Alright, well, let's take a look at the cockpit before we even bother putting it in there. It's basically got a heads-up display. One of the stickers is very crooked on this one. That would be the one on the right. Otherwise, the sticker placement's pretty good. I have no idea what the HUD is actually looking at, however. Are these supposed to also act as stairs to get into this thing? Alright, so we know that this goes into there like that. Yeah, so that's probably something to kind of help climb up into that thing, because it's a beast. The head part opens up. We've got the 3-point harness. Let's take a look at the back here. We know this connects to the back over all the rivet holes. Snaps into place. Snappy snap. Ooh, look at that. We got the big brutal air tank things, or fuel tank. So take a look at this. We got a peg there and this little flat area there. So that plugs there and there. Okay, so technically only one part plugs in, the other one just kind of sits there like an idiot. Like your idiot brother. I shouldn't say that. Alright, so we got the fuel tanks in place. They gave us these effects here. Would have been kind of nice if they'd given us little jet boosters to put in back there, Like that. Because, they already have them because they came with the Rattler. So let's just take a look at the back of this thing while we're at it. Haven't put the hands in place yet. It's pretty nicely detailed. We got like, I remember all these super little stickers that you had to put on if you bought the old toys in the day. The caution fuel and the do not touch and caution hot and stuff like that. Not that they say a lot. Well, I guess caution jet fuel and fire there. And again, it's too bad they didn't give us the actual flame effects. But the jet fuel is probably also what's used to fuel these things, right? From the side here, we can see just some more detailing, some more little warning stickers. And from the front, we do have a clear glass here for the cockpit. Let's go ahead and try putting this together now, the rest of the way. So from what it said, this is like the end-all be-all part here, right? So everything else clips into here, and this goes into here. It's also a softer plastic than the rest of this. And it does stay in there pretty well. Better than the Jubilee figure's leg did. So now we have options. So first we can start out with like the little hand, which again, would have been nice if it was designed to open and close. Spin it around. Actually, let's do this, shall we? Because technically with this figure, this accessory, this vehicle, this robot suit, you do not actually need to have a figure in it to display this thing. Whoa. Huh. That part does not clip into place anywhere on the front. That's stupid. I mean, we will try putting some different figures in here in a little bit, but just saying, you don't really need the figure in there to do anything. So if we do that and we want to look at the articulation here, the arms can spin. There is a hinge in here and a ball joint, if you can see that, at the shoulder blade itself. So you've got the ability to kind of move this in and out, up and down here, and then spin it all around. And the hand popped out while we were doing that. That's not good design either. Single joint at the elbow. There's no way in hell they're going to do a multiple joint in there. Surprisingly, you do have a waist swivel, though it only moves about, what is that, 15 degrees each way. The legs can pull out and push in. They can move forward like that far and move back that far. And they have about the same range of movement when they're pushed in too. I'm not sure why they pull out, to be honest with you. We do have a bend in the knee. Maybe 20% again. And we have a hinge at the ankle. No ankle rocker. I'm guessing a lot of that has to do with trying to stay sturdy. They did sort of, I don't know, these kind of look like they could be hydraulic representations here, by the way. It's just that they don't move like some previous toys have done. But that's our articulation on the Snake armor. I don't understand why they didn't design this thing to clip into place up in front somewhere, other than just sitting there. That's kind of silly, again. Now we have our flamethrower, which here we are at rest. We have the big blast. And then we have this. Now, every time I see them display these things, they always have it up like that. I am fairly certain whenever I've seen videos of flamethrowers, the flames start going down like this. Because you're spraying kind of a liquid flame for all intents and purposes. And so when it goes this way, the flames kind of fall. They don't rise up. Maybe they would have like a slight upward thing to them. But we can switch this out here. Now what's funny is it comes with this extra grip bit here. But it, you can't really. Oh, hey, look at that. It's got a bicep cut too, and I totally missed that when I was doing the other stuff. You can't really grab onto it that way. Although I suppose technically you could hold onto it like this. So you can show him kind of getting ready to replace it, I guess. Or he's holding it like a little basket. A tisket, a tasket, I got a little basket. Oh shit, I broke it. Don't worry, folks, that part was made to come out. We have, of course, the missile launcher, which this to me actually may be the most ridiculous accessory on here, just because it just looks weird and, the base just does not look, it just does not look right. I probably won't be using that. Here is a laser beam, I guess. Sorry for the sound effects. And then we have a gripping hand. Now, this would have been really cool if it opened and closed, but I don't even think that could hold onto a figure. Well. Nope, you can't even get a Valkyrie's waist in there. But again, like, if this had been designed to open and close, especially if it was, like, more spring-loaded maybe even, you could have opened this up enough to actually have it hold onto a figure, and that would have been cool. But hey, Hasbro fails us all the time on design, so, whatever. Just get used to it after a while. Honestly, out of all the accessories on here, I think the claw is probably the one that I'm most likely to keep on this thing. I'm not a big fan of the flamethrower, and the laser cannon thing just looks kind of awful to me. Like, I don't know, I don't like the design of this. The hands are boring, and I said before, the missile's kind of stupid. That being said, let's go ahead and open this thing up here. There are actually more controls. We got the joystick on the side here, and on the side there. Also, we have additional screens on the two sides. Oh, shit, look at that. This thing actually does have a... Okay. So I was wrong about that part. It does actually clip on there. My bad, again. I've done that a lot lately, aren't I? So, first up, for the figures to try to fit in this thing, we're going to take a Cobra Valkyrie. There's always two tricks trying to get figures in these vehicle things. The first is actually getting them in the seat with the harness, and the second is trying to put the hands on the controls. That harness is quite possibly the least... Oh, let me raise this up again, sorry. That harness is like quite possibly the least useful harness ever. I think that's going to be too big for even the male figures, to be honest with you guys. We got to bend the legs far enough so they stay back there. Oh, I see. This is why this does this. This opens up to give you access to try to get the hands on the figure. The figure's hands on the control sticks. Actually, that should probably be facing that way. We got one in place. All right. So that design now makes a lot more sense to me. So I apologize for my earlier jokes on the design flaws. Okay. So you can kind of see the figure in the visor, but not very well. Now, what somebody needs to do is to create a button-sized LED red light to stick back there. You can tell I don't watch a whole lot of, I listen to the fan streams more than I actually watch them, which is why I never know how stuff goes together. I'm sure I probably would have seen how this worked otherwise. So the next figure we're going to try in here is going to be our Cobra officer. And I suspect that he's going to be a bigger pain in the ass than the Valkyrie was. Alright, we'll remove the helmet. Good enough. Hey, what do I have to do if I need to pee while I'm in this thing? Our standard Cobra Trooper figure did fit in there, but God, he looks like he's probably going to be in pain afterwards. As for our last victim of this, I'm going to just do a Cobra Viper, since it's a slightly bulkier figure than the Cobra Trooper is. Oh my God, I hate doing this already. Again, I will remind you that as long as you have this displayed closed, you don't actually need to have a figure in there for your display. In fact, I'm not even sure where I'm going to put this thing. And I got 2 of them. Because I'm stupid. Harnesses in place. Knees are... I mean, seriously. Take a look at how his knees have to sit in there in order to get them in there at all. So there we go, we got our Cobra Viper in there now. So let me start by saying that this thing was obviously designed more with the Cobra Valkyrie in mind as a pilot than it was for any of the male Cobra Troopers. Just because when you look at it, the seating is designed obviously to fit the Valkyrie the best. However, the harness was designed to fit the male figures and it does not change its positions. So when you do have the Valkyrie, who this was obviously designed for, in the pilot seat, the harness is stupid looking. What they needed to do was give us a harness that had a second point of attachment towards the bottom so that you could actually get the top of the harness down lower between her legs. That's what was needed, and they didn't give it to us, and that's a failure in my opinion. This guy also takes up a lot of real estate, so there's probably not a whole lot you're going to be doing with it for display, I guess. I mean, like most of the G.I. Joe vehicles. This is the one issue, I guess, with classified series, and people have noted this before, but once you start getting the accessories and vehicles and stuff, they do take up a lot of room, and trying to figure out how to work that into your display is kind of a pain in the ass. I've said before that my plan is to get a couple of shelving units that will take up the center of my collecting room, which I still need to do a video showing off what I've gotten done so far, because it is pretty much laid out the way it's going to be laid out. But I wanted that for the Eternian play set. Then the other levels will probably be like other play sets, and then like G.I. Joe will be on the top. Or like... The way I kind of imagine it is like bottom shelf, Eternian playset with some of the other playsets from Masters of the Universe. Then maybe another level with some more Masters of the Universe. And then a couple layers of G.I. Joe stuff. This will probably have to go on the shelf along with my Cobra Rattlers. And it'll look nice, I'm sure. And I do like this, the way it opens up. Although, again, this thing is huge. Especially when you compare it to the original toy from the 80s where... you put a figure inside, that was basically the skeleton was the figure, because the legs kind of like closed on those legs, and then the top part, I can't remember if it slid on top of them or if it, again, was one where, yeah, it split apart, I think, and then you put it together on top of them. It also came in 2 colors, so we had the gray version like this, and then they had a dark blue version. I am sure that this will be repainted as that other version at some point. I could also see them doing this in red for the Crimson Guard. God, what a pain in the ass these things are going to be in the future. I'll bet you they'll do that with the Cobra Claw too, is repaint those in other colors too. But my overall on this is I like it. I think it's a really nice design. I'm not upset like it's designed for the Valkyries and not the male troopers. I'm perfectly fine with using a female figure in there if I want to. But again, if you close it all up, you don't even need to have a figure in there. And if you put like a little LED red light in there for the visor without the figure, that'd be kind of cool too. My likelihood for display though is going to be something like this, where, you know, you can partially see the figure inside, like she's just starting it up. But again, that's the issue with the harness, is that harness looks really awful on her. But why don't you guys let me know what you think of this in the comments below? Also, by the way, just for shits and giggles here, the Cobra S.N.A.K.E armor is System Neutralizer Armed Cloaking Equipment Battlesuit. I'm fairly certain they did not have that on the original toy. But anyway, if you enjoyed this, please feel free to like the smash button. And of course, if you want to see more of my nonsense in the future, please subscribe. I thank you for watching. Peace and love.